The online site that I recommend for uploading your DNA data to is called the Functional Genomic Analysis. And I recommend that site for a couple of reasons. Now, let me just start by saying I've downloaded and uploaded raw data to a lot of different sites that you may know of, like Prometheus, Genetic Genie or Genetic Hacker. There's Livewello. There's also Dr. Lynch's software, Strategene. There's a lot of different sites that you can upload them to, and provided the reason number one that I like the Functional Genomic Analysis site is because they make practitioners the only people that are accessible to their data. And the reason that is because I know how hard it is as a practitioner to understand that stuff. And if you want to understand that stuff yourself and you have a health challenge that you're trying to solve, going deep into the research like that is not helping your cause. And so I know you haven't been able to find someone in that capacity, or money's tight and you can't do it, and I get that. But I would also say that having to make that a priority to find someone that understands it more than you do is key, and you're going to find people that have that functional genomic analysis access that will really understand it quite well. And that doesn't mean those other sites can't be understood well. If especially you come away with a similar conclusion or even a different conclusion, but you implemented a similar strategy and they were both effective, then that's all that matters. However, the other reason I like the functional genomic analysis, and again, I've seen Dr. Lynch's strategy, and I love Dr. Lynch and I love his strategy, and I think it's really, really helpful. I love Dirty Genes. I have taken every course that he offers, probably 2 or 3 times, just because I have OCD tendencies myself, and I have high glutamate issues myself, and that requires you to chomp up those extra neurochemicals in productive ways. And so anyways, the reason why the functional genomic analysis is so great is because it has a construct to be able to understand how the environment, most importantly, how the environment overlaps with gene SNPs that don't even need to have gene SNPs. To be honest with you, you don't even need to have gene SNPs. You don't even need to have the raw data. The way that the software works for the provider is to understand the relationship between the environment, the subjective symptoms, like what you're feeling, what's not working, how is it presenting, how long has it been there, and is it running in families, and what triggers it to make it better or worse, and all the things you know about that, along with the DNA and just health history and things that have been helpful and things that haven't, and things you didn't know, and what you're doing. All of that really helps to put a game plan together that really uses that information and makes significant improvements and makes significant changes. Now, there are baseline things that you can do no matter what report you go through and what you interpret and how you find it, is if you work on supporting your inflammation, quite simply. And a lot of ways to do that is just better diets, right? More nutritious foods, more fiber, more vitamins and minerals, and probably support for being able to break down the nutrients. All those types of things have to be going on in that assessment. Sorry, it's always interesting to walk by someone and be doing a video, and then they see you, and then you come back to the video and have to remember exactly where you were on that. I kind of lost my whole train. The other foundational things that no matter what DNA software you use to interpret it need to be implemented no matter what. And we just mentioned about being able to have a good diet and be able to utilize your nutrients, but also having good relationships, having good mindsets. Those are things that I find, like, no matter how much you study this stuff and no matter how much you want to know what's the best site to go to the reporting site and figure it out on your own. To me, don't get me wrong, I want you to get better, and it sucks that we haven't found someone that is more knowledgeable than you, or you just haven't been able to put all the puzzle pieces together. But I would encourage that person who's experiencing that to search for help for someone that can do that, that can lead the way. I'm not saying you can't be at the front, but someone that can be at the front with you so that they can take over the main concentration of flying the vehicle, right? I mean, as far as you get that, like if you're both in the cockpit and one's like has the hand on the steering wheel, you don't have to have your hand on the steering wheel. Just knowing that kind of takes off that, okay, I don't have to worry about crashing into a building because he's got the hands over the wheel. That's more of what I'm saying with that. But the things that I said is you can implement strategies that are going to be helpful no matter what, and that's reducing inflammation, number 1, getting better nutrients, number 2, having better thought processes, number 3, getting a lot of movement, number 4. Those things alone will make so much difference. It really would. And then there's more difficult things that have to happen in terms of how you love yourself, how you communicate with other people, how other people communicate with you, and looking in the mirror and knowing that you have the ability to do that, and you deserve that, and you can do that, and you need to do that, and you have to do that. Those all have to be there, and there's no other conclusion but to get that, and the certainty of knowing that it's possible. Those are, to me, the more missing glue than what reporting site you bring it up to, because those make huge differences. Now, finishing off my thought process with the functional genomic analysis is being able to then use that as a verb. And what I mean by that is being able to know your tendencies now, what the perfect storm of the environment, plus your triggers, plus your family life, plus your genetic susceptibilities, plus the things that made it better, plus the things that make it worse, and how to balance on that tightrope so that when you do slip and fall, and you will, that you get back up really quickly, and you now add another piece of information to your database as to why did that happen. And the more you start getting the ahas of why that happened, the less you have them. It's really amazing. So if that sounds like something that you're looking for and you need someone to review your DNA at another level and take over the steering wheel, DM me and say steering wheel, and I'll tell you the details.